Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is going to be a very new and exciting kind of video in this channel. So in this video we are going to build an app without writing a single line of code. So as you can see, I have this broken hand and I cannot code on a regular video. So I thought of making a video where we will try to build an app using AI. We will be creating the design with AI, and then that design we will be using, some sort of AI IDE to code for that, and we'll see how the process goes and what kind of end product we can get. So the idea is to build an app from scratch in the single video using the free available AI tools. Okay. So the first thing first, the app idea. So I am planning to create a project which is going to be movie selection app. It will be more like a Tinder where you get different kind of movies as an option, and you can right or left swipe based on your liking. And let's say if you want to watch a movie with a friend or family, you can create a group and the app will suggest the like one, it like a match for you. So yeah, that's something we are going to do. And let's just get started with the first and foremost thing. So I am going to use Whisperflow for my prompts because I cannot type prompts for that. I'll be adding some very vague information into this, and then we'll see how it turns out. We will basically iterate until we get the design that we want, and also we will be creating this whole project using Google Antigravity, which is again an IDE that basically uses AI to code. And yeah, let's just get started. Okay, so first thing first, I have basically this IDE. I have this dashboard which is basically Stitch. And now this Stitch over here, what we need to do is that we can define the kind of idea that you want. So there are a couple of things that you can select from here. For example, if you are designing a website, you can define like a website or an app based on your need. Then you have some predefined design system that's there. Basically there has been so much like Xandria, Bauhaus, Glacier, Carbon, and all these. It's basically normally auto selected, but if you want to select a specific one, it will be using that. Then we have a model. The model that you can select over here is that 3 Flash. This is a Thinking with 3.1 Pro redesign, which basically kind of uses the existing application to redesign them. And then an ID8 is also something that basically kind of process the ID and all. We are going to use the very default one, Flash, for this one. And let's just get started with this. So basically what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add the prompt to this. So let's just add that prompt. Okay, as a designer, and help me create design for my app. The app used for Android, iOS, and app is reference to movies where people will like the movies that they get in the list. And when they want to watch a movie with a friend or family, app will suggest two existing images. They have icon. They will for example onboarding of the app. Basically, will ask for relevant information for the genre, like movies and all. Then they will feature, will have a screen, will left side movies. Then you have friends groups functionality. You have friends functionality, where you have friends using and friends groups. You have user login sign and along with that we have questions. So please design that me you can use to build this app. Okay, so now you can see I basically created this prompt which says basically act as a professional designer and help me create a design for my app that will be a multi-platform app using Android, iOS web. The app is a reference of a Tinder of movies where people will left swipe the movie that will swipe the movies that they get in list. It's not left, sorry about that. And they get in the list when they want to watch a movie with friend. The app will be suggesting a match that they have in common. There will be multiple features, for example onboarding, where basically you will be asked for relevant information, for example the genre and type of movies and all. Discovery screen where user can left side swipe the movie. A friend and group functionality where a friend group can be added and friends can be added into the groups. User login and sign up flows. Profile session, please design that for me so that we can get. So basically this is a very vague kind of information that I've given. Definitely you can add more details into your prompts based on if you have a very solid idea. But since we are just trying to build a very basic kind of thing, this is something that I've done. And now I'm going to click on this to see how it turns out. So once you click on that, it will start, designing the stuff. You will see the information on the left side, where basically based on your prompts, this tool will start building. Now let's see how it turns out. Okay, you can see that the system is now generating this design. Let me just slightly zoom out so that we can see the kind of design it will make. Okay, so now you can see it has just created some of the design for me. I'm not sure why this one image just got s- messed up. So let's just try to create some spacing for that. You can just add a little bit of spacing into this and then, use it over here. Now let me just try to zoom in. Okay, so looking at this, this is my sign in screen where, we have this Google Apple sign in and all. Then we have some sort of friends and groups that we can create. And this is basically the discovery screen where we have, left, right swipe buttons. And also, you can do it from the slide and all swipe as well. And then this is basically, I think it's a profile section where, we have some profiles settings based on like what we have watched. I'm not sure we should have that, but yeah. And then this is basically the matches that we have with certain groups. And this is basically the kind of movies and all the type of stuff that we can have. So basically this is some basic design that we have created. And you can see over here that you can have some other stuff as well, and you can also change the design system as well. Okay, and now I'm gonna name this project to, the project name is change to cinema. Okay, so that we can use that. What else we can do? Perhaps we can add something. I think for now it's just fine. Let's just not add anything else into this. Okay, now once you do that, there are some other options. For example, create some sort of prototypes by just pressing on this play button, and it will basically create a prototype for you. You have also export options where you can export it. And other than that, if you want different variants for a screen, you can also get that as well, and I'll show you how you can do that. Okay, so now this is basically the prototype that we have, right? And when you click on the sign in screen, you get over here, you click on get started, and now over here you can get this kind of information. You can click on socials, you can click on groups, you can click on profiles, and then based on that you also get all these kind of things. So basically this was something as a prototype. If you go back to the project, and like I said, what you can do is that you can select a relevant screen if you want. Let's say I select this, and now over here you can see that you can regenerate the design, you can create different kind of variation, you can also ask for a desktop web version, and these kind of things. So basically you can do all these things with this with Stitch. And I would recommend you can play around with this, add some changes and all that you want. And once you do that, you can also export it. If you want, you can export. Let me just select everything. Now you can see you can export it to Figma, you can export it to Jules, you can export it to MCP, and there are like so many things that you can do it. Okay, and now once that is done, there's just one more thing I think we can do, and that is basically if we go over here and go to settings, you can create a key for yourself. I've already created this key. You can create a key over here which is for MCP servers, and I'll tell you what an MCP server is and how we can do it. But for now, let's just use this existing stuff that we have. We are over here with our app. This is basically the design of our app. And now the next step would be to basically actually code this. Okay. Now, when you go over here into this anti-gravity, this is basically the tool that we are going to use. It's not compulsory to use this. If you have cursor, you can use cursor. If you have Claude code, you can use Claude code. It's totally up to you of which tool you want. I am experimenting with anti-gravity. I have the other tools as well. Perhaps, and if you want, we can create some more videos on on Claude code or cursor as well. But for now, for this, we will be using anti-gravity. Okay, so you can just download through this over here. It's pretty simple, straightforward. You can just download this file and install it. I've already installed the tool. Okay, so now I'm going to create a new project and let's call that movie match. Move match TCH. Okay, and I'm gonna create a project that is basically supposed for web and also contain server. I'm gonna okay, let's just use this as well. And now let's just finish it. So basically what it will do is that it will create this project for us. Let's just take it out. Oh, come on. Okay, now this is basically created, and for anti-gravity, let's just open this folder. Okay, so we get over here into the move match. This is the project that I have, and now it's basically there. Now it's basically, you can say that let's just trust it. Okay, now the next step would be to basically install some skills. So basically Google Stitch has some skills that you can install. For example, all these you can list all them and you can define a specific skill based on what you want. So what I have done is that I basically installed all these skills. What you can do is that you can just copy this link and then get over here into anti-gravity, and in the bottom section over here in the terminal side, you can just execute this like this. Okay, and it will install it. So basically I've already installed this so that you don't have to. Anti-gravity is by default accepted, so if you have like any other tool like Claude Code, OpenClaw, anything, you can use them, but since I have this, just install everything, and now you're ready. So basically you can install these skills. Skills are something that is basically a predefined kind of settings or configuration for the agent to understand how to do specific work. And a skill is not just for coding, it can be for anything. It can be the ways of working, the architecture of the app, the UI design flows, or how the files are structured. Like, you can define different kind of skills for your projects, and those skills are basically available in the .agent files. Okay. Now, once you install those skills, this means that the Stitch will be able to, understand that. Next step would be to basically, understand this anti-gravity as a IDE. So on the left side, you can see you have the code structure and all that. Every code and stuff is available here in the section. This is basically where your code is basically shown. In the right section, this is basically important because this is the agent where we will be communicating and we'll be talking to the project. And then in the bottom, we have this terminal. You can enable all these functionality from here as well. And now when getting over here, we have two different sections. One is the fast, which is basically specifically directly start the task. You can see agent will execute task directly, used for simple tasks that can be completed faster. Agent can plan before executing tasks, used for deep research, complex tasks, and collaborative work. So basically, if you have a bigger task and complex task, you can use this for planning. And then this is basically a Gemini models where you can define like what kind of model you want. Like you can use Opus 4.6, you can use Sonnet 4.6 for thinking, and then you can use Gemini Pro and all for this. Now, one problem that I've faced when working with this is that if I give a prompt with a lot of information, the project basically don't work that good. So what we need to do is that we need to do step-by-step stuff rather than giving everything at once. So that is one of a trick that I use. So basically when we're giving a prompt, we basically first give it basic structure. Let's say you create a basic structure with some basic information, some sort of setup you can do. And then once that is done, you create a new agent, or like maybe you add more information into it. For example, design the login screen and APIs call for that, and then basically based on that, it basically updates or create those working. Okay. Now you can see the time we start working on this is 12:07 p.m. right now, and then we'll see how long it will take us to build this. Okay, so we are going to create the first step, or like first phase, and that is going to be the basic structure of the app. Basically, maybe like making sure that we have some configurations, for example coin and all these kind of things are ready. And then the next step would be to basically design the login screens, and also making sure that we use server side implementation and all for that. So let's just get started with the phase one. So now we have this, and we our project is ready. I think the design is ready. Now what we need to do is that we need to connect this design, or like connect the stitch with our anti-gravity, so that our anti-gravity can basically look for these file or design files, and basically help us implement those. Okay, so basically, in order to end for anti-gravity or any AI agent to communicate with other AI agent, what we need is basically we need an MCP server. An MCP server is just like an API call, but it's basically more for the AI agent rather than a normal apps. That's why basically we use MCP server. And how do we set up the MCP server? What you need to do is that you need to go over here in the left section and go to the settings. Now inside this setting you have this API key. Now basically I've already created one. If there is no, you can just create on this create key, and it will be creating this one for you. Now just make sure that you don't use or share this key with anyone, because this is going to be very important. And it's like just like any other API keys that you have used, don't add it to your code base, don't publish it in in your code base on and anything. Okay, now over here in the anti-gravity, I've already basically connected the MCP server. But if you have not connected the MCP server, what you can do is that you can get over here in the three dot on the agent section, right? And over here you can click on this MCP server. So now if you when you get over here, you will get a lot of MCP server. It's basically MCP server for Firebase, you have for Google Kubernetes, you have so many. You can select anyone. And now over here you can do is that you can search for Stitch. Okay, so you can see over here it says install, but for you it might not say that. Once you click on that, you will be asked to configure, and then you can add your API key over here and save it. So once you add that, it will basically be added, and the status will also be mentioning that it's basically available or not. Okay, I've already set it up, so basically it's saying install, but you can change it. Okay, now the MCP server is ready. So now what I did is basically I added some of the basic information, like for the structure, what kind of structure I want. We plan to use Ktor for client side implementation, and we should also be using coin. I did mention coin as well, but we plan to use Ktor for client side implementation. Server should have some basic configuration. Server app should use the store for caching. Also use coin for dependency injection. So I've added that for this as well. And now let's just give it to set up a plan for us. And then once the basic structure is done, we'll be doing going forward. One more thing you can do over here meanwhile is basically enable this, and also add all these to VCS and commit them as initial commit. Okay, and the reason I did is basically that this way I'll be able to understand what's going on, like what changes as the agent is doing. And I'm using Gemini 3.1 Pro instead of Flash, because it's a bit better for coding tasks. So let's see if it's up to its mark. And then you can use Sonnet, Opus from Claude, which are they're like very good with coding. But since I'm trying to like use all the Google products in this, like Stitch is also Google, Antigravity is Google, and also the model is also from Google. So let's see how it turns out, and then maybe in the next video we can use some of the other models, for example Claude's Opus, or maybe Codex and all. So let's see. Okay, so now the plan is there. You can see the move match project setup plan. It's basically using MySQL connectors and for the servers, KTOR client, KTOR servers, serialization, and then we have data store preferences, coin core implementation, compose app contains all these backend implementation has some this. So like everything is there and everything is some very basic. So you can just proceed with that and then hopefully it will work. Okay, now it started working. It basically changed some files. For example, it added these dependencies for MySQL, for all these, and also some serialization plugins, and then also the dependencies that we are going to use. So this is cool. This is more focused on the backend. Right now, I can see all the backend related stuff. For example, content negotiation. Okay, I can see the client side some as well as, and then coin. Okay, I think it's overall it's also have the navigation compose and all. So everything is there. And like I said, once you basically add that first commit, you will see that files that are basically getting changed into this. Like you can see the coin.kt has these. It's not yet available because we need to sync it. But like you can see, everything is basically being changed. So just keep an eye on this and see how the files are changing. Your role with these kind of project is more about how the code is created or generated by the agents, and you need to make sure that it doesn't breaks, and you make sure that it follows the guideline, because it can go in any direction. So you need to make sure that it remains in a stable way, and it basically doesn't add unnecessary stuff to the code base, and also doesn't go in a wrong direction while implementing. Okay, so now it's trying to build. Okay, I think the first resolution failed. Build successful. Okay, perfect. Try to sync this from our end as well to make sure that it's basically building and all. And now once all these thing is done, what we'll do is that we'll review the code and see if there is any change. We'll ask it to change that. Now it's basically building the compose app. Good. And we'll also sync the Android side on Android Studio side as well. Okay, I think it worked. I don't see any change or anything into this. Now let me just add that to VCS as well. Okay. Okay, so now you can see pretty much everything is done. Builds are working fine. They should work fine because I don't see any problem with it. One issue I see over here is specifically in the server side code, and that is basically if you get over here into the server main Java, it's fine, right? But if you switch to project and go to server, you will see you have a bin section that has a main and test and all these information, same as we have for this main test Kotlin, and then we have the same stuff for this as well. So it's like two different files are being maintained. Now let's ask the agent why we have used bin and also the source for this. In the server, I see we have used bin as a folder and also source, and both bin and source has the same files. So why are we duplicating the files in bin and source, and what is the purpose of bin? Okay, so I basically added this question into it, and now let's just execute it. Okay, now you can see that it will work on this. Now basically at least the first step is done. The basic setting is done, and now we will be asking our system to work on the authentication and onboarding for us, where basically all these things will be done. And then the next step would be to basically implement the discovery and profiles and group and all that. Okay, so just the idea is to basically ask the AI to do like minimal work, and then you can review that. It's easier for you to review, and also easier for you. um and you can say it's basically modern Kotlin. You can compose. Now let's see if it got rid of this. No. Yeah. Now let's just add. Please remove whatever is unnecessary. Either imports, anything. Just don't use anything that is unnecessary. And now basically we have asked it to remove if there is anything unnecessary, it either imports or anything. Now it will basically remove the bin folder for us as well, and also it will get rid of any imports or anything that basically added an extra. So now basically this is how you can go with the AI and make sure that it basically don't add anything wrong, or like don't mess up while building. And since this first step is done and we have everything working, what you can do is that you can definitely review it. Like you can see I've basically reviewed this, which basically means that initially it was that. Now we are using nav host, where basically the app nav host is this. It contains some of the basic functionality. Right now it's the same, but like in a better way. And then we have these dependencies for this application.kt file, have some of the basic installation, database factories there, which has basic implementation, and then all these client and all. So everything is there. And now what we can do is that you can say project setup is done. So you can commit those changes. Okay, now once done, you are done. Okay, so basically this step is done. You can just say accept all, which means now basically, oh sorry, there were some changes still done doing. So okay, I think so it should not be problem. Why do we have been? Oh, okay. Okay, so I think I just messed up, mistakenly added back the bin folder. So let's just get rid of that. Okay, and now we got rid of that. Okay, so now the first step, or like the first initial project structure is done, and now we will be working on the onboarding and login. So for that I'll be using a new agent, because if you keep on using, it will be using memory from the existing one, and then basically it can go outside of the memory and then cause um, the agent to miss a lot of stuff. So basically, since the first step is just done and there is nothing related, you can go ahead and go for the new implementation. Okay, now we will be doing again the UI for the login, APIs for the login from the server, and onboarding. Okay, so let's just give it the prompt. Act as a professional software developer and help me implement the UI for login and onboarding from the Stitch project Cinema, and also implement the APIs for that and the integration of the APIs. So after this this phase, what we should do is that the user should be able to log in, sign up, and process through the onboarding, and those values should be stored, and the UI should be exactly or ditto similar to what we have in the Stitch. I basically added a prompt. We're asking for the login and onboarding from the Stitch. Okay, it's the Stitch project Cinema. Also implement the API and integration after this one. So basically I've added this. Now let's just see how it turns out. Okay, so now it has created this plan, and what you can do, we can see implement the exact auth and onboarding interface defined in the Stitch Cinema project, and design system and defined, and basically its assets are defined, JWT password. So it says the UI call for specific background images cinema use in the hero background. By default, I will configure the UI to load placeholder URL from the Stitch project to match exactly alternative. We can use local drawable resource. Please let me know your preferences. For background authentication, this is standard hash password and return JWT Upon login, I plan to introduce bcrypt for hashing and kit, or let me know if you prefer different mechanism. Propose changes, we have everything there. The kind of projects, what file will be changed and all. What we need to do is that uh, yes, so basically there are multiple questions that were asked. First is the assets, so we need to make sure to ask for the assets. For assets, use Gemini Banana to create the images if they are not available. For JWT and password, your approach is correct. What's the other question? For the login screens and design, make sure to follow exactly same as Stitch. Even if the implementation is not available, just add the buttons for Google, Apple's etc based on the platform. But yeah, just don't implement the Google login and Apple login implementation. And for data store, yes, please use the data store wrappers to persist a JWT token or any other user configured information that's basically used. Okay, so now basically we added some more information into this, and then we will be processing that so that it updates the plan. Now you can see it's now generating the images that we will be using. See, it just created this cool image which will be used. And now you can see it's basically created the user table for me, and in the application file it basically added another again to the server bin. Okay, I think again this is one of the problem. It's keep on adding files to bin and all, to like two different files are basically created. So we need to fix that, but we'll do it later on. No worries about that. Preference table has this. Then onboarding routing, which is for the onboarding. And what else we have? Images, we already saw that. Authentication file, application is again added. We'll fix that. Don't worry. Now let's just sync that as well. Onboarding routing done. Okay, it looks like the server was built successfully, and now the UI will be implemented. Okay, now you can see it will be configuration, and then it will be creating the screens and view models, and also phase 3 is done. Almost the images is done, and now it will be configuring this as per the task list, and then the rest of the images will also, sorry, rest of the task will also be created. Okay, so now it will start working on phase 4, which is creating the UI. And you can see like on runtime the files is basically updated. You can now see that this phase 4 is now started, and some code is also added for this. It's cool. Okay, looking at the task, it's failing. For what reason? You can see it's something related to icons. Over here, where is auth routing action? Okay, so this is the onboarding screen. Looks okay to me. That is my auth screen, which also looks okay. Let's see. Perfect. Okay, now it has added the view models to this as well. You can see the view model implementation is there. It's really not the ideal way. The code structure, it's just trying to load the data just in the view model, no repository or anything. Either we should have used that, but what can you do? This is how AI work. and that is basically why you are needed, to control it. Like, this kind of thing should not be done. This is just a very bad approach of working with this. The code structure should be a little bit better than how it they have implemented. So just look at it and see what it does. So nav host is updated, or it just analyzed yet? Okay, so it just analyzed it. Okay, so now there's the build issues. Okay, just fix that, I think. So what else do we miss? Let's just sync it. Okay, that was the problem. Then we go over here into the view model, which is fine. This one is also looking fine. Okay, I don't see the onboarding module anywhere. Sorry, onboarding view model anywhere. Do we have anything? Okay, I don't see that. Coin context. This is not how it should be done. That's one problem I see here. Okay, the rest is fine. So the app section, app nav host over here. Don't see that implemented. Okay, over here you can see the finish onboarding section. What do I miss? Okay, build successful, which is good. At least let's sync it. Okay, now looks okay to me. My only concern is this view model not being used, and this view model having these API call, and I think it's going to be similar for this one as well, and this one as well. So this is not the right thing. Let's just see what it does. Okay, now let's just try running it. Okay, because without that it will not make sense. So I will go over here, press on this, and now let's see. At least there are two things that I can find. One is the view model not being used anywhere in the screen. Okay. And the second one is basically these network calls being made without, using the DI. We have a DI, we can use coin for this, but I think the DI was just added to the server. Even I can't see anything in the server for that as well. I don't know what just happened, but let's ask the agent to do that. Okay. Okay, I see different problems. One is that the view models are not being used by any of the screens, so we need to make sure we use the view models. Second thing is that the API calls inside the view models are done. I think we should use Coin for that, for the initialization of both view models, and also the maybe a network repository or anything that can basically allow us to fetch the web calls, because there will be multiple calls later on that we will be implementing. So the structure should be as per that. Okay, so now basically I've implemented this. The two issues that we have, I can just add that to that so that it can look into that and make sure that it get it fixed for me. Okay, I can see it got installed, but looks like it crashed or something. Okay, when I click on that, yes, it's crashing, which is makes sense, I think. So the error is okay. What does the error says? It says coin application has not been started, which is definitely makes sense that we should start the coin application through the activity, and also for the iOS as well. So let's see how it does it. Okay, so it has changed the implementation plan. Let's see what is the implementation plan, the new implementation plan. Okay, let's just open that. Okay, let's just add some more information. I think Coin has a compose library, compose view model library for compose multi-platform that we can use, and it's not just Android view model. Secondly, for data store in iOS, we can use actuals. Also, I think you're missing the initialization of Coin in the main activity and the main view controller for both platform. Okay, so I've added a comment for some reviews that it was requiring for me. Now let's see how it turns it out. So basically, that is something that your involvement will be required when working with the AI projects. You need to make sure that you review the code thoroughly, and if we don't, it will just create a mess. Like it's basically creating right in front of you. I'm not very much impressed with the Gemini 3.1 Pro for now, but let's see how it turns out in the future. If it basically improves it further by the end of the day. It's been more than an hour since we've been working on this. We have made a huge progress, but not as I was expecting with it. Now, it basically added the file, the relevant files that I was asking for. For example, in the iOS main, it's not yet updated, but it will be updated. And you can see in the common main and iOS, yeah, it should have added that. Common main activity is not yet updated as well. What is, yeah, now you can see the network client is added, auth repository, onboarding repository, user preferences, created at a source. So all these relevant files are changed. Going to the task, initialization is done, started. So basically it will do the initialization for Android and iOS. Then we will be repositoring user okay, which is fine. Refactor and to consume state correctly, update nav host and coin view models. Okay, I think it's going in the right direction now. Okay, so it's changed the auth screens, analyzation is done, auth screen has been updated, and now I think it should use the view model. I can see it's using the view model, which is a good sign. Now it looks like we have made some progress. Right now you can see the view model has been used, auth state is using coin view model, and I think we need to import that. So let's just sync the files just in case, so that it we fetch that. I think, okay, something failed, makes sense. Yeah, but at least the build issues are gone, and onboarding screen has this problem. Okay, I think that is the problem. But let's just AI use do it. Okay, I know the prop. I know the issue is just changing that file from one to other, from the import. Okay. And also this line, that import line that we have, sorry, I have to do that so that I don't consume a lot of tokens on this. Now I think we should be good. Okay, so main application is having some problem with the Android context, which is why. Okay, if we go over here into our main application, okay, it's failing because I think it needs that dependency for this. Let's see if the AI can add that dependency in the mid Gradle file over here. I don't see that coin dependencies for Android here. We need to add that. Hmm. Okay, now it looks like build was successful. Sync it now once again. And now you can see, oh, very good. It just removed the Android context from this rather than adding the relevant stuff that we need. I don't think it's a right idea, but let's see. Okay. Okay. Now let's just run it. Now get over here, try to run this. Go over here into our emulator. And now let's see what it does. It's been more than an hour since we've been working on this, and we have not yet been able to get the login flows working. So if you have done work with other agents like Cursor or Cloud Code, you might be wondering why we are spending so much time. Okay, so the login screen is there. Okay, just have an image. I know the reason, and the reason is basically we need to run the server first for that as well. And we go over here into the application file, import. Okay, let's just add the hard-coded 8080 for this. Oh my god, come on. Okay, and let's just not use that. Okay, so that sync that, and now we will run this. Hopefully server runs. Okay, something's wrong. Okay, I'm not able to run the server. It says the shared is not available for server. So okay, so now we just ask the AI to help run the server for us. Let's see if it can help. Okay, now let's just try running the server. We go over here into terminal. Create a new terminal and then paste that command that we copied. Let's see if it works. No, it's failing. There's some problem. It has access denied for root localhost. Okay, something is wrong with the database, so we need to make sure the database entries that we added are correct. Where is my server? Where is my server? This is my server. This is my app database factory. It is root 123. I think the password and URL is fine. Try here. It's much easier this way. Localhost, fine. Root 123. Okay, sorry, it's 1234. So that might be the problem. Try again. Okay, this time it should work. Okay, I can see that it's basically now working, or at least running. And now if we close the app and try again. Okay, I think I know one more reason. Let's just fix that as well. Okay, for Android, we need to use the emulator. So use the emulator URL for localhost and also add the HTTP configuration into the XML, into the manifest as well, so that it allows the HTTP request as well. So basically, we need to allow the HTTP request in the manifest for Android. We have seen that before as well. We need to add the network config for that, and also we need to use the relevant URL. So I just added that so that we can use it. And now the Android will be able to basically use that IP, and then based on that, we will be getting that. So I hope it works. Okay, enter. Supposed to press enter onto this. Okay, one more problem I see over here in the repositories as well. We are still again using the network line directly, so we need to fix that. But this is something which is basically more like a technical thing and more like a project structure based thing. So we might not want that right away. Right now, the target is to make sure to be able to run the app. Okay, I think now we should be good. Try again this time. Compose app, sync. Perfect. Now run the app. This time I'm hoping we should be getting at least some more information or some more screens or design or whatever. Hmm. Okay. Nothing. We get nothing. We need to make sure. Running the app doesn't do anything. It just show me a screen with an image and the title. I'm not sure why. I think the authentication screen is broken. It's not working properly, perhaps not fetching the API and all. Can you please add logs or make sure that the authentication screen automatically takes the user to login if not login? Okay, now if you go to the auth screen, you have this cinematic big image, box, raw, cinema, all these tying of information, and then the column, text, matching stories, discover cinema. Okay, I think something is wrong here. Let's go to the auth screen. Auth screen is here. I see a box with this cinematic background, which is fine. Then we have a radial widget as box. Top navigation bar placeholder says Premier Access and all. Main container content over here. This is the problem. Over here, we don't see anything. Matching stories and all these kind of things are not available, and I'm not sure why. Okay. Fill max width. Fine. Yeah, all these fields are there, but they're not shown. What was there? Okay, could it be the state issue? I think the state was causing some problem. Perhaps that was the problem. Try once again. Come on, come on, come on. So I'm not gonna take more time on the rest of the feature. Instead, I'm gonna give it give it in a one go. And now you can see we have something as Google, Apple, and email and all these things, which is I think good. Okay, so the login flows are there. The design is not responsive. We need to make sure design is the UI is not responsive. The text, specifically the title or the main text, are like very big. So make sure to use the proper design format from Stitch and make it responsive for a different screen as well. Now the UI has some problems, so we need to make sure that the implementation handles that. Like for example, you can see the matching stories is too big. It should not be that big. It should be smaller. And now it's going again to the stitch, looking for that and all. So the thing is that basically, even with AI, you need to get involved to make sure that nothing's is left out. Right now, I can see plenty of issues with the code implementation that it did. And I think it is more because the prompt that I gave it to it. Like if we add more detail, for example, to use MVI and or maybe clean architecture or these kind of things to the code to the prompt, then it will improve it. But I want it to be a bit vague so that you can say lazy prompting to see how it react to that kind of prompts. But yeah, right now it's not as good as I was expecting, or as good as I have experienced with Claude Code or Cursor. But so yeah, that's basically something you need to do. Make sure to do. And now the auth screen is being done. Some of the adjustments are done. Now it's building, and we'll build again and run this on our emulator. Okay. Yeah, now it looks good. Now it looks good. Clicking on that is crashing, which is not a cool thing to do. But why it's crashing? I think it's crashing because network client auth repository is trying to log in and it's basically crashing, which is odd. It shouldn't. Okay, so basically it's an initialization issue or something. Okay, so now basically there are some problems. For example, the initialization of the login, we don't have the sign up button on the screen, which is odd. We should have a sign up section as well. And we also need a file or a manager or handler for the API calls that basically handles it. Okay, so there are multiple issues. One, each repository is using the network client directly, so which is causing the initialization. So let's create a handler for the network calls and add all the calls into that. For example, remote data source or anything like that, that basically handles the all the API calls that we are making. For example, the onboarding, the login and sign up. Second issue is that the sign in screen doesn't have the sign up button, or there's no way to go to the sign up screen. Also make sure that it's vice versa as well for sign up, to be able to let the user get back to sign in screen as well. So yeah, these are the fixes that I would like to have. Now I basically added a prompt explaining the issue that we had. For example, one was the API calls initialization issue. Second was the sign in screen. Now let's just get it back and try to get that resolved. I was not expecting it to be that slow or that problematic, but yeah, it is how it is. Now you can see it's still using the IP separately for each API call. Just don't understand if it's actually that dumb. Yeah, but you can't do anything about that. Just wait. We'll ask it to basically create a base URL or something like that, so that it doesn't have to do that in that way. Now you can see the remote data sources there as well. Auth repository is there, onboarding repository is there, and now I think we should be good. This time at least the login flows and all the other stuff should work. You can also make sure that you cover these authentication screen accordingly. Like we should have validation and all for these sections as well, so that it doesn't break those kind of flows as well. And other than that, I think we are good with this feature. Now we will start working on the other section where we will be creating the UI screens for swiping and all. Now, where is my Android Studio? Over here. Try running this once again, one last time. We'll try to create account. Let's see how it goes. Okay, now it looks good. This is something we wanted. Like we have a very cool text field, and now when I click on sign up, you can see that it's changing. Now let's just add, you know, some stuff to that. cfk.com password 12345 6. Okay, the password field is not hiding, but we'll let it go. Okay, now once I click on that, I think it's still creating a problem. It's causing not being able to identify the engine. So now what you can do is you can just get that API call request or the crash log that we have, and we'll give it to this. Now let's see. Okay, so basically it just missed, like, this is really bad. Like, it missed adding the ktor dependencies for iOS and Android, and that's why basically it was failing to get that engine, and the API call was not working. Ideally you should have, those dependencies added for each one. So not very impressed with how it's working, like, or how it's basically uh, coding this Gemini 3.1 Pro. Not very impressed, to be honest. Let's go now. Try once again. Okay, now let's get over here to sign up. Try to do the sign up again. Now try to log in, and now when I log in, you can see I have this really cool section where I can define the flavors and all kind of things, and then click on that get started where we get onto this screen. So basically the first feature is now implemented. It took us more than almost 2 hours to get that feature done. Now if you ask me, is it done? No, there are so many issues. There are some validation issues, there are some other issues, some code structure issues, but I'll blame that on my prompt. Okay, so if you work a bit with your prompt, like for example, initially creating your prompt in a way that basically explain more of the thing, like what kind of architecture we should use, what technology we should use, or perhaps you can also define the versions that you would like to use. That can maybe make it a little bit more easier. Now we are on the last phase of this, where we will ask the system to basically help us create the swiping functionality and all the grouping and all that. Okay, so we get over here and create a new agent. Okay, and now again for planning, so this time I'll be using the basic information that we gave to the Stitch. Act as a senior software developer and help me implement the other functionality of my movie match app, which is a similar app to Tinder, where user can swipe left right based on their liking the movies, and when they are in a group or maybe in family, they can basically get a match. So this will help people decide how the like what movie to watch on a specific day when they want to watch it. And the feature has onboarding and sign up that is already implemented. Your job is to implement the rest of the features. You can find the design in the Stitch named as Cinema. The project is named as Cinema, so use the design that's there. Implement the server side implementation as well, and the app side implementation as well. Make sure to follow the best practices that we have for Compose multi-platform, and don't add any unnecessary things. Stay to the design, make sure everything is working as expected, and implement the project so we can use it. So basically, I've added this prompt where basically I've added different information. Ask question if you have any confusion before implementing. Now basically I've added this, and again I'm gonna press next for this prompt. Meanwhile, I'll basically add these changes to VCS. So let's just add that, and this is going to be login flows. Okay, now I just committed this code, and I'm just gonna get rid of this. Just this, don't like this bin folder keep on popping. Let's just remove that. Okay, now it's that this is something that we've added. Okay, now you can see it basically created this movie tables, swipes table, group tables, movie routing, swipe routing, group routing, like basically server for share layer. It created entity, main repositories for this, then some changes in the nav host, some new file creation for main, discovery, social, matches, all these things. The few domain specific thing. Movie data structure. How do you want to populate the backend database with movies? Should I mock set of movies inside the movies table or demonstrate purpose? Or do you expect fetch them from external API like TMDB internally within the backend? Match threshold. When does movie constitute a match for a group? Does it require 100% agreement for all group member or simply majority? Yes. Invitation mechanism for social. Okay, so let's just answer the question. The movie data source, I would recommend if there is any public API that we can integrate, that would be great. For match threshold, I think 100% agreement would be important. Any movie that's basically 100% agreed on will be the one. Invitation mechanism, I think user can be added through emails, and it's just we don't need fancy implementation for approval and all. User can just add anyone into the group through their emails, and that will be added to the group. Now I have added some more information into this, where it was asking the source for the database, and also we have added the invitation mechanism and the match threshold. So these were some questions that it was asking. We have answered that, and now it just created a list. So if we go to the task list, this is the project. Backend setup, API integration with IMDb, so TMDB, public API for populating movies, movie routing and all, shared models, nav host, discovery, social. I think everything is there. Now let's just wait. I believe we need an API key for TMDB so let's just. Okay, so I have basically gathered the API key. Meanwhile, it's basically working on the other stuff. Let's see. Let me just store my key somewhere. The API key for TMDB. Okay, we have the client ready. I think we can use that or add the key over there. Where is the key? Okay. It's a fallback. What the hell? Okay, so the source over here, it's unknown JSON client. This is my API key. Okay, we have that, so we can use that. Okay, so I think the server side implementation is done, and now it's working on the social, on the screens, on the UI. Okay, so now we have the implementation done, and now let's see if there's any task. Everything is done. Let's try running it. So first we sync it, and once we do that, we get over here into the terminal. We get over here Control C, then rerun the server. Okay, so hopefully it works without any issue. Okay, the build was successfully done. Okay, yeah, so it's running, and now we need to run the Android for this one. Now, okay, we get over here in the code base. We have plenty of files. Some files were these as well. Try running the coding file. Now, now since we logged in, I think the user should also be taken to the home screen first. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we got over here into our sci-fi movies. Now, new release blockbuster, get started. We got over here in the movie section, shared matches, nothing. Your groups, loading. We don't have anything over here. And why is that? So if I go over here, close this, go to move match, tables, we have movies, try select rows. We don't have any movies, which is odd. Now let's just see, ask why. Okay, while running the app, I don't see any movies in the list. So can you help me with that? Identify why the movies are not being loaded. Okay, so something was wrong with the server. Let's just try running again as per the command. Okay, we get over here. We got air movies. Let's just reload this. Now, okay, there was some problem with the token, so let's just re log in as well. So I'm just gonna create the cache. Okay, and now we run this file from here, and it's going to be fk at cfk.cm. Password is 123456. Begin session. Now we got here and get started. Still, oh, okay. We got a movie. You're not, and you can see this like right and left swipe is there. And perfect. But the images are not loading, so you can add. Okay. Something is wrong when. So basically, the cards are still causing problem. So we need to make sure to fix this. And I think it's because of the API calls or something. I'm not sure. Shelter. Okay, at least the movies are now loaded. Okay, so now let's just add the fixes. Okay, so there are bugs. One, the swiping is not working. When I swipe, the card remains in the swipe state and it doesn't get away or removed. Second step is I think the design of the discovery screen is not as per the design in the stitch. So just fix those issues as well. And also the icon in the navigation, the bottom navigation are not as per the stitch. Okay. Okay, now as per this, it says that it has fixed both the bugs. Let's see if it's actually has fixed the issues. Something went wrong with the iOS. What happened with the iOS? Okay, something's wrong with the iOS. We can look into that later on. Thing with this main activity. Why are we using this? Just import the extension function. That's it. Try again. Try again. Okay, we are here. Okay, somehow, for some reason, this is also not working, which is odd. Okay, at least now you can see. Perfect. And if you go to the matches, we go to the socials, you can add new group. Mm, okay, I created this group and we go to the hub. We don't have much here. Okay, now what I need to do is that I need to run on another device and see if that device, when we basically create a group, if we get any match over here. Let's see. And the design is not yet up to mark as per the design that we created. We have these icon and all. So now I've created this group and we can add a friend over here. And over here I can say fk at gm.com. So this is my new account or my other account where we have created this account. And if I go over here into the match, Greenland 2, Greenland 2, and now awesome. If we go over here to the matches now, okay, cool. So now let's say we have this goat, okay, and now let me just swipe into the right, and you can see it's a match. Everyone in your group love this. You can definitely add more stuff into this, where you can see now we have two matches. One is the Greenland 2 and one is the goat. And yeah, so this basically works to some extent. Now we need to update the UIs, and the images are not loading as we want. So we need to fix those, and then I think we are good. So let's just get over here for the designs. The design are nowhere near the Stitch design for cinema project. Make sure to follow the design pixel perfectly, and the images in the swipe cards or the group cards are not showing, so make sure to show those images. There seems to be some issue with the images. We don't see any images in the app, and the design is nowhere near the actual design that we created on Stitch. Okay, so now I basically ask it to update the designs as per the new designs, and we'll see if that helps or if that works. Okay, so now this got installed. For some reason, the images are still not loaded, but I think we can later on look into that. And now, if I get over here, get started, the design looks much better than previously. And you can see like, nope. We have our ratings. We have some more details about that. If you go to the social section, you can see we have this group matches. We have these group match. We need maybe perhaps add some sort of other information there as well. But yeah, the problem is with the image not available. I think we can fix that perhaps with some other issues. But first, let's try running it on iOS, okay? Because that's something we're missing as well. Okay, so let me just clear up some memory for it. Okay, what is else is missing? Okay. Yeah. Now we get over here, go to iOS, try running for iOS. And once we run for iOS, we'll see if that whole structure works. And then last step would be to basically implement the images so that it'll basically that's when the UI will be complemented up very beautifully. Ooh, what do we have here? I don't think so. We have anything here. Okay, so something is wrong. There are two errors that we've got. One is the nav controller related error. But yeah, let's just give it to the anti-gravity and ask to fix it. Well, let's see what does AI say about it. It's something related to navigation runtime for 2.8.0. Oh, let's see. What does that mean? Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's see if this was the only issue. If iOS worked, I think this could be a very okay, some other issues we need to fix. Okay. Well, I don't have much hopes or high hopes from this. Let's see if this fixes the problem for us. Okay, wow. This is cool. This is really interesting. iOS was built, and now we should be able to see a simulator running the iOS code as well, although it will not work because I know why. And now, if we go over here into the, it's going to be 10.0. Yeah, these A endpoints that we have. Now you can see we need to change that to base URL. And this is something that I was asking for, because this is not a good approach to hard code all these URLs, right? Now implement the, let's just say, remote source. Okay, the data source section has a basically hard coded the base URL in all the API endpoints. Let's just create a single variable with the base URL, and then the rest will just append into it. So let's just fix that. Okay, for some reason my iOS got crashed. Okay, it says you can't use this version of the application. Okay, let's just remove it then if we can't use it. Okay, now you can see that these URLs, this base URL will be added as a independent one, and then one we can use for iOS, one we can use for Android. Okay, it's done. Done. Right. So let's just create one more. Okay, and that is going to be 1 to 7.0.0.1 because iOS use localhost. Okay, let's just do that and run the iOS one. Seriously. Okay. Whatever floats the boat. Okay. Try. The idea is to build that. That's it. Oops, something happened. It's definitely gonna fail because, like, s- let's just add some information to this. Why not use Startcoin for both Android and iOS main view controller? For Android, we can use Startcoin in the main activity, and for iOS, you can use in the main controller. Why we have to go into the iOS app Swift file and change it when we can access it through to Kotlin? So I just added a couple of um, information that I am aware of into my anti-gravity, and I've added the error as well. Now let's see what it says. Meanwhile, I'll have a cup of tea. Okay, just built. Oh, hope it doesn't crash this time. Oh, come on. What's the problem this time? It says private field property declared in module lifecycle cannot be accessed. Oh my god. Something else is causing this crash. Let's fix that. Oops. This private backing field property declared in module view model compose cannot be accessed in module navigation compose. Where did we, what did exactly happen here? Can we try running the Android version? Okay, once again, let's see this time. I hope it won't crash. Come on. Seriously. Let me just intervene why it's not calling. Perform no function found. For what? Just messed up functions issues. Don't even know why it's causing that much of problems, but let's see. Let's try. Hope it fixes the issue that we have. Now try once again with these crashes. So we've added this says no function found for symbol restore from form. It's somewhat related to the nav backstack entry. Not sure what could be the problem, but definitely something breaking for iOS. Oh, come on. Now it says that upgrading the version to 2.9.7 would work. 2.9.7? It should be 2. Yeah, 2.9.2. I have no hopes. Like I said, I didn't had any hopes. Uh, what else? It's still the same issue. It says cannot read backing field. Okay, let's just try. Let's just Google this error and see what could be the issue. Maybe we can add, like, give some hints to AI. Cannot read value. It's basically for coin. So that's one thing. And it's the problem. Okay, it looks like something happened over here. Okay, so the problem is with the with coin, and what I'm gonna do is we get over here into the coin and we upgrade that to 4.2. I think that could be it. So AI might take ages for this to find out. I think we can easily fix this by upgrading this version. And I'm pretty sure this will be the issue. This will be the fix. Let's see. Let's see if I am the right and AI is wrong. Because AI keeps on, trying to figure out the compatibility with different versions. I, on the other hand, feel like it's coin because I found it on the coin GitHub repository. So if this got fixed, then you can say that I'm better than AI. Okay, moment of truth. Okay, and now you can see that I got it fixed, which means I'm better than AI. Well, I won't say that, but at least it was an easier fix to do. So now let's just try logging in with the account that I created on my Android. It was this password is, and now let's just try begin session. Perfect. UI looks dope. And now we are here, and you can see that you can, right, left, whatever you want, like this. And Durandar the Revenge is already there. So, oops, no more movies. Oh, we got a match. And now you can get over here into the match section. You got this. There is some problem with the image, but you got the idea, right? So basically what we did is we created an app from the scratch without anything. Let me just ask the AI to fix the image. If we can get that image fixed, I think the UI will look very pretty good. Why is the image not being shown? I think there is something wrong with the image URL that we are trying to place. At least from the database, when I search on Chrome, it works. So can you please log the image URL that we are trying to place in the image view? And also if there is an issue with the camel image, perhaps we can use coil for that. What did it do in the app? Okay, so we have added some logs. Let's see if this fix the issue or if at least help us identify the cause for this. Okay, now you can see we got the images, and I think now this should also work for the other version as well. Let me just sign out. Try with the fk at gm.com. Password is 123456. Now sign in, select the genre. Oh my god, this looks really nice, right? So basically, if you go over here to the matches, you can also see that the images are being loaded. So I think that's pretty much it. Let me just do one thing. I'm sorry I have to do it this way, but let me clear the database we have for matches. So we have this. Let's just drop the table. Drop now. Okay. Okay, let's see. Yes. Okay, so the server is running now, and we need to run the Android app again. Where is my Android app? Yeah, this is one for Android, and let's also run iOS as well. Where is my iOS? Where is data source? Yeah, this one. Okay, and change it to iOS. Run it. Now let's just start processing. Go to this. Perfect image is there. Okay, so now we are here. Okay, let me just log out for this account because we have same account on both. I would want the different account over here. FK at CFK CFK.cm, and the password is 123456. Okay, so now we logged in. We sci-fi drama indie we got over here. Now over here you can see your heart will be broken. Both movies are there. For some reason the image is not loading for this one. Let's see. Okay, and I'm gonna use Peaky Blinder. Awesome, it's a match. It's a match, and you can see basically these are working. For some reason the iOS is not, images are not loading. But we can definitely look into that and see what could be the problem. You can see this is the problem. It's saying uh, illegal state exception for native platform. So you can see we had some problem. We got that issue. Now you can just give it to your AI and it will fix it. So basically, other than that, the functionality of the app is working. There are definitely so many other issues that we need to fix, but you got the idea, like how AI can help you out, speed up this. So basically, if before AI, or if I were to think about writing an app with these screens and this functionality while implementing the backend as well, in one day, or not even in one day, in like 3 to 4 hours with one hand, it was like nearly impossible. But now you can see that I, with one hand, not even using keyboard that much, was able to basically create this app for both Android and iOS along with the backend as well. So this is really exciting and cool. And uh, and yeah, I think it's not yet something that it can do all the things on its own. It needs you, it as an as an supervisor or as an lead, to guide it in the right direction. Like you can definitely improve the prompts, but even with prompts you need, you need to know things before asking AI to do things for you. So if you think that AI is going to replace you, I don't think so. If you have a right skill, if you have a right core for the stuff that you are doing, AI will definitely help you out, speed up the process, or at least for now, AI is not gonna replace you. Instead, basically, it can help you with things like that. As you can see that I saw so many issues, and then I asked AI to basically fix those, and it did. So it's more like, yeah, it can give you an extra hand to write the code that you don't want to write, like the boring code. But when it comes to making that decision, when it comes to making where you want to take your app structure or where you want to take your app domain, that's still in your hands. So you need to be involved. Now, next question would be, is that if AI is writing all this code, do we still need to basically keep on writing the code? And my answer would be is that before AI, you had sorting algorithms, you had, all those different kind of algorithms for storing, sorting, uh, retrieving and processing and all. But you still like learn those algorithm on your own, by basically writing the basic code or like the basic structure rather than using the SDK available methods. Why was that? That was to basically have an understanding of how things under the hood works. And even with AI, I believe you need to learn code. You need to know how things work. You need to know how basically all these screens work, how view model work, and all that. Because if you don't know, you might not be able to tell AI what to do. So my take on AI is that it can help you a lot. And you definitely need to know even now how to code, because if you don't know how to code, your AI will mess thing up. And yeah, that's basically it for this video. Now in the next video, if you want, we can try cursor with some other view, with other model, or maybe Claude code. So comment down below if you want a new video on this. And I'll see you in the next video. So till then, happy coding. Bye bye. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon so you don't forget any update. If you got any question, you can join my Discord server. The link is in the description. Also, for quick updates and tips, you can follow me on Instagram. Until next time, keep learning, keep developing. Bye.